I'm gonna spill the tea. Yes, I'll talk about specifically today on the Emirates Cabin Crew requirements, and I'm going to speak to you about them in details, one by one, giving you a thorough explanation and very, very crucial information for you to understand a lot more other than just what's written there. And also I'm going to be talking about the implications and the reasons that lie behind this job description when it comes to applying for the cabin crew position with Emirates by helping you read in between the lines. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Yamila. I am your recruitment bestie, as I would like you to remember me from now onwards. If you don't know me from my other social media platforms, welcome, welcome, welcome. I have been in the aviation industry for over 16 years. I started off my career as an English teacher and mentor coach for cabin crew aspirants, ground staff aspirants, and pilots as well, helping them from the English perspective as well as and also incorporating my knowledge of human resources back in the days, but it was more of an approach with regards to the English language skill sets. Then eventually I got my wings in Emirates Airline as a cabin crew member myself, where I have been for way too many years there as a cabin crew member. I count on more than 10,000 hours, flying hours on top of my beautiful body. And eventually I transitioned intentionally onto becoming a recruitment advisor in aviation, more specifically for cabin crew members. But I also coach people that are coming from different types of roles, such as pilots, ground staff, dispatchers, and so on. Okay. But before we begin, I would really like to ask you to please subscribe, because it really helps us grow. And at the end of the day, we want to take off together, bringing you a lot more frequent those videos that are helping you guys understand a lot better and in a deeper manner everything with regards to the interview processes themselves. Now, before I begin, I would also like to recommend you, if it's okay with you, I don't really have one right now because I'm using my tablet today, but I would really like to recommend you to grab your pen, a piece of paper, okay? And now, yes, let's get started. Right. Beginning with the most important thing I would like to acknowledge is where you are going to submit your application. And as a recruiter myself, guys, I will always encourage you to only do your online application process through the official websites of the company you're aiming to be part of. In this case, you're going to submit your application creating a profile in the emiratesgroupcareers.com/cabin-crew website, okay? Always use official channels, guys. Don't give your CV to a friend of a friend or someone you know is finding or meeting a cabin crew who is joining the company, or someone inside an airline who might put your CV. It doesn't work like that, especially when it comes to huge airlines. You will always have to be submitting your application on the official websites. Having said that, what I want you to understand is that you first should follow these steps before you submit your application. And the first step is to get familiarized with the official website you're going to be using for your whole application, checking updates and any other notification should it be your case. Now, when you are finding the Emirates Group Careers website, you're going to click and look for the cabin crew career, okay? And you're going to find specifically this website, okay? And what I'm going to do on this video especially is to help you understand and read between the lines and understand in depth and in details the requirements that are listed here, because there's way too many confusion about the specific requirements, whether or not there are exceptions and so on. So I'm going to clarify everything you guys have been asking me throughout the years so far. So note that, of course, if you see this video maybe in 5 years time, you are probably going to see an update and an upgrade on the official website, so don't worry about that. It's very common to see photos that are updated of cabin crew, new cabin crew members posting and being the face of the company as well. It's very typical to happen because, you know, we always want to refresh an airline's website, so it keeps you more engaged and more motivated. So having said that, when you enter into the emiratesgroupcareers.com/cabin crew, you're going to find especially that at the very first part, you're going to see experience the world as part of your career. And then you're going to continue scrolling and you're going to find the section that says who we are looking for. And in this case, you have all the requirements listed. Now, to be considered for Emirates Cabin Crew, you will need to be, and this is a must, this is non-negotiable, this is literally mandatory, so you must make sure you fulfill the criteria perfectly. Now, I'm going to talk about the shadows and the different interpretations, and I'm going to demystify this because I did the whole process myself. Eventually, I was a cabin crew member at a certain point of my career in aviation, and this is what we needed to make sure and what you need to ensure you fulfill 100%. You need to be fluent in English, fluent in written and spoken English. Additional language are an advantage. So let's begin with the English part. When it comes to being fluent in written and spoken English, it is crucial that you at least have an upper intermediate level. Now, you need to be able, in English, if you want to put it in a more common way of expressing it, you need to be at least able to communicate properly, professionally, proficiency, okay, in a way that you find comfort in expressing yourself, your ideas, your perspectives, as well as understand the person that is interacting with you, okay? And this is a crucial time because obviously speaking, you're going to be doing whole work in English, okay? Spoken English must be clear, must be understandable. You must be able to express everything you want to say in a correct manner. And it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? This is a disclaimer alert, if you want to call it. It doesn't have to be precise, perfect, with the most amazing type of vocabulary that a person that was born in the UK, for example, has encountered, because we understand as recruiters that you may, of course, be from different countries, different backgrounds as well, and at the same time you still need to be able to have a good level of English to communicate properly and professionally. Now, when it comes to the fluency in the written English, you need to understand that you're going to be tested. You have English mock-ups when it comes to the English tests that are taken in the Emirates interview. You can have them from my link in bio, okay? You see them here, and you can practice them on your own. They have the level that is required for you to be able to succeed in the written English test during your interview process. So if you want to have a look, take them and start working from that onwards. Feel free to do so. Now, you're going to be tested in the English written level, okay? And you must make sure that you can demonstrate your capacity. And the reason why is because you're going to go through training, and the training college is going to demand quite a lot of you from your understanding in the written English. Therefore, you have to be able to read the manuals, understand them. And again, I'm not talking about having a proficiency level of understanding in the aviation industry. When it comes to the English, you don't need to know any aviation terminology or something like that. Please avoid falling into that understanding, because that's actually a gossip and nobody is requesting you to count on aviation terminology beforehand. But you need to communicate properly in order to succeed in your training college and then start flying and feel comfortable when you interact with passengers. Now, bullet point number 2 is that you need to be a natural team player with a personality that shines. And what it really means is that you need to be comfortable by interacting in a team from people that come from different backgrounds, different nationalities, and at the same time, you have not met them yet. And chances are you're going to fly with a brand new set of crew every single flight, okay? Especially, you may know someone perhaps from your date of joining, from your batchmates, and so on. You may find familiar faces, but reality is that with more than 20,000 cabin crew members in Emirates Airlines today, chances are you're probably not going to meet that colleague that you liked on the flight. Therefore, this is the moment you demonstrate it by showcasing that you're a natural team player during your interview process. Now, being a natural team player is also being able to interact properly, professionally, and be comfortable in a team of people you are brand new to. And when it comes to the personality that shines, that is absolutely my favorite part of all, because many candidates really overlooked this specific part of personality that shines. What it really means is that you need to put your personality of service. The majority of the times, candidates come over with fear to the interview processes, feeling that they need to act as if they were someone else. And guys, trust me, we don't want to see you are pretending to be someone else. You're putting yourself in someone else's shoes that you're not. We want to see your personality. And the personality that shines is the type of person who is comfortable by helping others, collaborating and lighting others without shining their own light. And shining your own light means exactly this, lighting others. It doesn't mean shadowing people in order for you to stand out, because guys, trust me, we really are not happy about people who want to stand out in a negative manner by misguiding others, misleading others. You really want to make sure you stand out bright and shine your lights, because that's exactly how a personality that shines means to us. Okay, so bring your whole self, bring your beautiful ways of approaching, doing things, and this is exactly what we want to see. We want to see you, we want to hire you, okay, and again, at your very best version. Do not underestimate the importance of details. Be at your very best, okay? And perhaps do an investment on your nails, do an investment on your tie, do an investment on shining and polishing your shoes, because those little details will also speak about your personality, okay? And will also make you stand out, all right? Let's move on with the third. With the height bullet point, at least 160 centimeters tall and able to reach 212 height. Guys, let me tell you that height is an issue, and it's not because we want to disqualify you for being either too short or not reaching the exact number that we want to see in a candidate. Reality is that when you start flying as a cabin crew member, you will have to operate aircraft that are big, okay? A380, Airbus A380, Boeing 777 and Airbus 350s are aircraft that demand you to be able to reach a certain height. For example, in a medical situation, for you to go and grab the medical equipment, or for example, in an eventuality, for you to go grab your oxygen mask. I really don't want to say something like Halon, but hey, it can really happen as well. So you need to make sure you are at least 160 centimeters. Yes, they will measure whether or not you are that tall, and yes, they will measure that you can reach to 12, okay? So you need to make sure you are at least 160 centimeters. There's nothing to be arguing about, and if you are uncertain, always make sure you can stretch and do some yoga, so in order to correct your posture, because I had cases of my students who were a little bit less than the 212 of reaching, and they were a little bit shorter than 160, and they could still manage because, okay, I guided them through the process. But the most important thing is that you have a good posture and a professional posture, so start working on that today. Now, another bullet point that you need to consider is that you need to be able to meet the UAE's employment visa requirements and at least be 21 years old. I'm not going to enter quite a lot into details of being a UAE employment visa, but what I really need to encourage you on that topic and on that matter is that you have to have a valid passport with at least 6 months of validity. In some other airlines, they will require you to hold a passport who has at least 1 year of validity. And you really don't want to go rushing, renewing your passport, so you make sure that from today you have all your documents updated and with enough time of validity. Now, at least 21 years old, and for Emirates you can already apply by being 20 years old and 8 months, so make sure you acknowledge that, because the whole process can take quite a long time. You can still do the interview if you are 20 years old and 8 months, and when you reach the 21 years old, this is when you will get the golden code, okay? So you cannot join until you are 21 years old, but for obvious legalities and legal reasons, but you can still do the application and do the whole interview when you are not yet 21. Good. Moving on to the extra requirements, at least 1 year of hospitality and customer service experience. It is not mandatory that you count on 1 year of hospitality, but you must count on customer service experience. It says one or the other, at least. If you have more, congratulations, well done. If you don't have, make sure you are fulfilling the 1 year of customer service experience. And disclaimer alert, it has to be a phasing rule. If you count on 1 year of customer service experience, for example, as a call center agent, reality is that we don't want that. You can be holding and talking on the phone to people, interacting, solving their issues, and yet not being a face-to-face interaction. And trust me guys, it makes a whole difference, because you really want to take that years as a really big experience and a great way, an opportunity to learn from how you can interact with other people. It is crucial for your role on board, okay? Let me tell you that, it's absolutely a must. Now, big stop for my beautiful Mateo. When it comes to people who tell me, okay, Yamila, but I just literally got out of college, what should I do? Okay, perhaps consider enrolling during your last year of college, or if you have just finished, in finding a job that is a face-to-face interaction with customers, okay? Go and enroll on a cafe, on a cafeteria, maybe get a job of receptionist or anything that can help you build that 1 year. And you don't have to be 1 year the whole time in a job. You can split it in a few months in one job and in a few months in another job, but make sure you at least count on 1 year of customer service facing role experience, okay? Now, a minimum of high school grade 12 education. Guys, I know in some countries there may be different types of grading, because I have coached and I still coach way too many people from literally all over the globe. Now, you at least need to demonstrate that you have 12 years of schooling. Okay, so in general, the primary school will take you 7 years and the 5 years remaining are from high school. Make sure that you at least, if you have done anything in a different manners, because your country is organized and structured in different manners, you at least can tell that you have a diploma that states that at least you've done 12 years of schooling. And make sure you have your diploma, or ask your mom if she has your diploma, because this is a crucial document for you to be able to enroll, be able to be eligible for the Emirates Cabin Crew position, because you need to submit this document after the golden call and to do all the documentation process, all the formalities, as we say it in HR. Now, no visible tattoos while in Emirates Cabin Crew uniform. Guys, especially for men, I want to clarify this. When you go to training college, you are going to be wearing a red polo. Therefore, I know many of you guys ask me about having tattoos in your hands, in your arms, sorry. This is not allowed, because you will have to go through training for a few weeks and you will have to have a clear, visible skin that displays no tattoos at all. So make sure you are absolutely covered on that side. And when it comes to having visible tattoos, you can not display them. So for example, if you wear a bikini and it's obvious that you have a tattoo in your ribs, that's okay. But in the Emirates uniform, you cannot show anything at all at this matter, okay? It's a cultural issue and you really want to be at your very best. Therefore, if you have tattoos or piercings, something I really don't ever suggest anyone to take during your interview process either, make sure you remove them before you even apply for the interview process, because it can take quite a lot of time. Your skin needs to react to the removal and so on and so on. It's a whole process itself. Now, we have come to a conclusion of understanding the requirements of Emirates Airline. However, I would like to also let you know that if you are going for an upcoming recruitment event, you keep on scrolling down the page and you're going to find exactly where you can apply. So you're basically going to choose your country, okay, over there, and you are going to select it and apply. A few things you need to take into consideration when you apply for the Emirates Cabin Crew position is if it has an open day or an assessment day. If it's an assessment day, it's the invite only. you need a great CV. And disclaimer alert, if you have no clue how to do a proper CV, you have a CV guide, or you can always book a call with me and I will check with you exactly how you can do a CV properly. I give you feedback personalized, especially on the things you need to work on, or I also help you build a CV from zero on a one-to-one level. Or if you find it that you're yet on the move of trying and understanding a little bit more and you're open to other options, you can always have a CV guide. And I also left a very useful video on YouTube on how to create the CV for Emirates as well. Now, I would also like to suggest you to start working on understanding and building and making sure you are going to fulfill the criteria that Emirates is requiring from you if you want to be exactly considered for the Emirates cabin crew position. I hope this video has brought a lot of clarity, because way too many of you asked me way too many questions. And having said that, I hope that if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and hope to see you around in the next video. For now, bye!